Thanks for staying tuned to your station, the African Independent Television, and welcome to your program, Security Watch Africa. On this channel, on this program, we'll give you that information you need to keep your life safe and secure. Welcome to the program. Today, it's another exciting episode of this program. But we are going to be continuing from where we stopped the last episode, talking about the post-traumatic stress disorder, and our guest is already seated. Just as she promised that she will make time to be with us, she's here. For many of you that have sent messages commending and saying that you are taking to what she said, we will get to the end of the discussion today, hopefully, time permitting us. But that will be after this report from the Defense Headquarters by Elizabeth Tanko, where at the beginning of the year 2025, the Chief of Defense Staff decided to have a parley with all the Joint Task Force commanders to re-strategize and make for a better service towards providing security for the country. As we speak, there's so many theaters of operation across the Federation, and so there's need to harmonize everything and imbibe the spirit of jointness, and that was the crux of the discussion. Sit back as we bring you this report.
Carry out proper and in-depth review and strategizing methodology, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, with the support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, conveyed the 2025 Chief of Defense Staff Joint Task Force Commanders Conference with the theme Enhancing Jointness Across All Theaters of Operations. After 3 days of brainstorming session, the conference came to an end this Friday, with commanders recharged to further the aggressive fight against terrorists, insurgents, bandits, secessionist agitators, oil thieves, and all other crimes. At the closing session, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, expressed satisfaction with the outcome of the 3-day conference and charged the commanders to go back and redouble their efforts.
To the field commanders again, I charge you to understand the enormity of the task ahead. You must be innovative and adapt to the changing environment. The security landscape is ever evolving. Accordingly, you must continuously assess and improve your strategies, tactics, and capabilities to effectively counter the emerging threats. Remember, you are fighting somebody who has nothing to lose.
General Musa, who emphasized on the need for jointness in the operation at various theaters, directed commanders to ensure cordial relationship with the communities.
The trust and support of the local population are critical in our efforts to address the security challenges. You must continue to engage with community leaders, religious leaders, and other stakeholders in order to address their grievances collaboratively and decisively. By doing so, we gain invaluable insights, foster cooperation, and build resilient communities that will be capable of securing their own future.
In his remark, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, urged commanders to ensure improvements in their kinetic operations.
Task Force commanders must ensure that the subordinates continue to explore the non-kinetic approach and engage the populace, especially the leaders of the communities where they find themselves, so that socio-economic development and activities in conjunction with civil authorities can take place.
General Oluyede hyped on the need for participants to imbibe salient points from the main lecture of the conference.
The mainstream and social media have become an indispensable social-cultural factor in the modern world, and their effect can either be positive or counterproductive. And if we're to go by what we see in our climb here, it's like what we get from the media is actually counterproductive. Because when you go by their reportage, what we get is usually things that will portray the military in some bad light. But that is being addressed gradually.
The conference, which began on Wednesday, had President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the guest of honor and other former service chiefs and current service chiefs as special guests. In his opening remarks, President Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, commended the Armed Forces of Nigeria for their diligent efforts in securing the country.
While I applaud the tremendous effort of the Armed Forces, I wish also to commend the various joint task forces and security agencies operating across the country for demonstrating the tenacity to bring all armed criminals to book. This has been instrumental in ensuring peace and stability within our country. Let me assure you that I have prioritized Nigerian security and will remain committed to supporting our armed forces and other security and paramilitary agencies in discharging assigned tasks and responsibilities.
The main lecture of the conference, titled Whole of Society Approach in Counter-Terrorism and Counter-Insurgency Operations, Strategic Options and Imperatives for the Armed Forces of Nigeria, was delivered by a former Chief of Defense Staff, Air Marshal Oluseyi Pintiru, retired, focused on essential parts of jointness in operation.
The first imperative for you, the members of the armed forces, is to understand what concerns you in a whole of society approach in counterinsurgency and counter-terror operations. Failure to understand that you cannot do it alone will only alienate other stakeholders. They will leave the job for you. Prolong your stay in the field fighting insurgents and prolong the country's agony. Furthermore, bearing in mind that you are primarily fighting for the hearts and minds of the people, never go into any operation treating the populace as if they are second-class citizens and you are their overlord. You will not get any cooperation or intelligence from them with those attitudes.
At the end of the conference, participating commanders are poised to imbibe the directives from the Chief of Defense Staff, points raised from the lecture and command from the Chief of Army Staff, all geared towards collective efforts to make Nigeria safer. Elizabeth Thanko, reporting for Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Have you wondered how Nigeria will look like if we do not have an agency as the Economic and Financial Crime Commission? People will be so free to steal away our common wealth to their own personal pocket. And now there seems to be a little bit of at least some fear, if not totally, because most times when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. So most Nigerians will prefer, less this corruption benefits me, let it be allowed to continue. And because of that, some readers, most of the readers of our online platform voted the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, as the best anti-corruption agency in Nigeria. During the week, Security Watch Africa visited the headquarters of EFCC for courtesy call and presentation of plaque.
Over the years, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, has become a household name for its fight against corruption in the country. While some Nigerians applaud the role in the fight, some others disagree and label the agency as ineffective, an organ of oppression by the ruling government. In spite of many landmark arrests and recoveries made, those against the EFCC use all methods and mediums to try to discredit the agency. At the advent of the current government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he found it necessary to rejig the agency and bring in new direction. This he did in October 2023, when he appointed the former Chief of Staff and Secretary of the agency, Ola Olukoyede, as the new executive chairman. Since his appointment, the new executive chairman, Ola Olukoyede, began to restructure the operational methodology of the agency, which 1 year after has helped to improve operational efficiency and investigative prowess of the agency, which in turn resulted in landmark recoveries and arrests and successful prosecution of large numbers of suspects. Following the result of Security Watch Africa's Nigeria Security Impact Recognition, where readers of its online blog voted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, as Nigeria's most outstanding anti-corruption agency in 2024. Security Watch Africa's team was at the headquarters of EFCC to pay courtesy call and present the plaque for the Commendation Award. Before presenting the plaque, the CEO Security Watch Africa Initiatives, SWAI, Patrick Agbambu, had this to say.
Thank you for what you are doing. The past 1 year, the agency has done very, very well, we must say. We know that as Oliver Twist, as Nigerians, they still want more. Like we always tell them, Corruption is not an easy thing to wish off. It will always fight back. We know that there are obstacles, and the public will need to be brought in to assist, not just by information, but by providing support and encouragement. And that is where we come in, that will provide the encouragement that needs in terms of trying to protect what you are doing, because we believe in what you are doing.
A visible, excited EFCC chairman commended SWAI for their work over the years and expressed desire to partner with SWAI.
This battle must be fought, this war must be fought and won. And so that's the area where we need your advocacy, and we need your engagement, we will also need your support so that we can work together and ensure that we put out the right narrative there and people really appreciate what we're doing.
Mr. Olukoyede pledged that the agency under him will not relent in the fight against corruption in Nigeria, even though some Nigerians pay lip services to the fight against corruption. The chairman, while thanking President Bola Tinubu for his support, spoke on their recent operations in Lagos State.
Operations we carried out in Lagos, where we arrested about 194 foreigners, 194 cut across various nationalities, Chinese, Pakistanis, Indians, Filipinos, Eastern Europeans, Pakistans, Tunisians. Some of the things we discovered, we don't anything on Nigeria, because you can't say this is just financial crimes alone. What we discover and insecurity, what we call it, very close to insecurity. Our modest achievement cannot be taken away from the commitment of Mr. President, which I would like to thank through this medium for giving us all the necessary support we need to do this work, and also from people like you who find it necessary to recognize us and join forces with us, not minding the effect of it. In fact, some people see that they have come to the FCC today, they see your picture with the FCC chairman, they will not talk to you again. They will block your number. So that is the price all of us have to pay for doing the right thing and for being informed-minded, seeing a better Nigeria, even that the generation coming behind us will inherit from us.
Lucy Tau reporting for Security Watch Africa.
Yeah, welcome back. For time, we'll go quickly to our discussion segment now, where I want to introduce our guest. She's been here with us from the first episode of this topic to up till this third one. It's a pleasure to have you. Lieutenant Colonel Susan Dibao, retired but not tired. It's a pleasure to have you.
The pleasure is mine.
She's a mental health expert or cognitive professional, because I know that the specialty is going to have to do with cognitive. Last episode, we ended the program talking about if hunger can cause post-traumatic stress disorder. And you say, yes, hunger surely does. Can you just briefly tell us how?
Thank you so much. Why I said hunger could also cause post-traumatic stress disorder. If you have a family and you can't feed them, you can't put food on the table, the man is traumatized. He sees what is happening. And when you now, at the end of the day, find a food to give that family, and it is not the food the family has always taken, just because the stomach should be filled, there is that trauma in those children, in the wife, in the family. So post-traumatic stress does not cut barriers for you to just say that it is people who take drugs, people who have serious trauma. That no, even hunger can cause post-traumatic stress in the family. So it is good to change our dimension. What you can't get now, explain to the family, we have to manage this. Let there be talk. Let there be communication. Yeah. The wife communicate. The children communicate. For us to play the role on one platform, there won't be trauma. We will manage what we have.
We're going to come to that place of communication as a way of taking care of this PTSD. Yes. But let's look at what are those symptoms one can look at for. How do you identify, there seems to be traces of PTSD.
Okay. I may talk to you on the aspect of the military where I have worked with them.
Yes.
When a soldier is working slowly in every aspect that he is to perform his duty, check out, send him for checkup. Or you as a commander, call him for a talk. Missing deadline. Today, you said everybody should assemble at 8, and this man continuously comes 9, 9:45. Have a talk with your soldier. See, withdrawal, when a soldier starts withdrawal from his colleagues, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, he's not there, he's somewhere. Have a talk with that soldier. See, post-traumatic stress sometimes does not show so glaring like we say HIV does not show. It is an emotional thing the man feels. It is a denial in him that he feels. It is an anxiety of when this thing will end that is in him. But when you communicate with someone who have these slow signs, you will get it over. Because trauma is something that comes suddenly. You didn't prepare for it. No soldier prepared for a trauma. But again, what I said is that have time with your men. Commanders that have time with their men never see such glaring trauma because they could manage it at the level of the battalion with the MRS, with the every hospital, not all really, but the reference hospitals have psychological clinical cell.
Yeah.
Don't make it known that this is a place where a psychological person comes in, because that stigma
Will be there.
they withdraw.
Yeah.
Somebody has seen me entering there. That means I have issue.
Okay. It seems in the last few years that the armed forces of Nigeria seems to be improving in terms of looking at those areas.
The army is doing all its best to see that trauma centers are everywhere within the hospitals. But again, is that soldier willing to spend his 10th section to get the best? No. You give a soldier a section of, you come today, you come, we give a space of this. They don't come. When they start getting better at the first, second section, they say, that man speaks too much.
That's just to apply
The
to
talk
even,
is too much.
even some people, even medication alone.
Yes,
Once they feel a little
but
bit of getting better.
For post-traumatic stress, the man who has taken his time to give you section knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's true.
That because post-traumatic stress needs constant talking. Let's discuss. You be a good listener. Allow him to say it all. You chip in into the area at which he must have repeated 3 times, 4 times. But is that soldier willing to take his sections? That's the problem we have.
Beautiful. One thing that have come up now in taking care of this PTSD is this issue of communication and talking. Let's look at it. Many people are afraid. They are having problem, and I talk to someone, the person takes it to tell another person, takes it even to the spiritual angle, telling my pastor in the church or my imam, and he tells another person or use it to be the topic of the preaching. Don't you think that also makes people fear, withdraw, and keep to themselves?
I agree with you. But let me come down still to this job that I did for 35 years and my 25 years in trying to see how I can make a soldier understand that he has a trauma. Communication is a very key thing in the sense that only few people in the army, only few will not see you with post-traumatic stress and think you are not malingering. But I want to bet anyone, call this soldier close, listen to him even for a second. He will give you one meaningful thing. The military is doing it. Those that understand are doing it. But there are few that still don't understand why he should talk to a junior soldier about his issue.
Or maybe because of their ruggedness, they believe that they are rigid in training and rugged. You should be strong and take it all.
No, no matter how rugged you are, there should be room, because trauma leads to anger. If your emotion and the anger jam together, nothing stops you from taking the action you want to take. Trigger happy comes in. When the man combine his anger and his emotion and denial of expression. Trigger happy comes in. What next? What do I even have to live when there is no one to listen to me? He takes his life. So communication is a key thing in treating trauma. Communication again. See, when I joined this army in 1986, let me bring that for you. There is something we call in a barrack, Sergeant Kurfo. That man is in charge of soldiers. In fact, soldiers will call him to confide in them because he is the next step to RSM. He is the next step to tell RSM that this is what we have. Only couple is another person that picks the information from the battalion line to the Sergeant Kurfo to RSM. If we can look at that aspect in the army, it helps. Because these are people that when you confide in them, they don't disclose it. They go straight to the adjutant to tell him that, see, this is what is happening. It happens to us. I was a young soldier. And when I have issue, I go through that steps, and I got it right. I tell soldiers today that still seek for my audience, seek for my help. I say, see, if you have issue, don't go straight to the big man. Yes, maybe the small man may not want to take it where it is, but deep inside you, you have spoken to someone. You have communicated to someone. And that person you have communicated to will not keep your issue with him. The man who has conscience will look for next step to see how he addressed this issue you have given him. Army is the best organization you can think of in the sense that there is this procedure. But we tend to look at my brother is from my village, this. No.
Okay. I know that you are so passionate about the military.
Yes,
because
if someone dies and come back again, I'll still join the army.
Yes. I know that is in the blood. But let's deviate a bit, because there seems to be in the society now, but among Nigerians, both here in the country and outside the country, where it seems that some couples are not having it so easy, they are beginning to kill themselves. A man draw a gun, shoot himself or shoot his wife out of problems. Can that be said to be PTSD also?
See, that level of PTSD is common in our society today. Marriage are broken because there is no patience. Marriage are broken. What do I get out of this marriage? It's all people look at. See, when you look at marriage and you think about what you get out of that marriage, you have killed the marriage that day. And that is it. And again, in post-traumatic stress aspect of family, when you tend to put all your anger, because so many things come and it plays on anger. Do you know what anger can do? Getting angry can do, getting irritated about something can do, refusing to use this space you have. Every human being in life has a space. It is left for you to look at this space. That
space to do what?
Stimulant. Respond to things.
Respond to things.
You see this stimulant, it's a response. You have a space to look at it. Is this marriage worth it? Does this marriage doesn't worth it? That is the time you seek for help. When your marriage does not, you seek for help. But when we tend to take law into our hand, you forget about the culture you come out from. It is because these days, trust is difficult.
It's difficult.
So because there is no one you want to trust, you take law into your hand. The people in overseas, when the court have said you will pay, you will pay. And that anger, you look at yourself, you are from Africa. Look at what this woman is doing for me. That anger alone can make you take your life. Why should I live for this purpose? In our country, we have it. They may not have taken their lives, but they are dying in silence.
And people say divorce is getting so frequent these days.
It will get more higher.
Will get more higher.
Yes. The reason is we don't have patience for marriage anymore. And our churches, our mosques, they are not giving you, they don't want to lose you as their member. God forgive me. Let's say it the way it is.
Yes.
See, these days I tell everybody, look for a mentor who do not carry your word to the streets. Everybody should have a mentor. A mentor that will see you through hard times.
On that note, we just have to draw this. In fact, I think it's a proper place to end this discussion because we have touched every aspect about the family, national, and everything, and the armed forces too. Thank you so much for being part of this program.
Thank you so much.
These 3 weeks.
I appreciate it.
And it's been my pleasure presenting this, and I must thank all the production team also for doing great work. Until we come here again next week, I say ensure that you watch the previous editions of episodes of this program so that you can get more abreast on what we have discussed, and send us your views and your questions so that we can take it up with her. She's available to take up, like she said, she can take up any issue. Send it to us confidently, and confidently to be handled by her. Until we come here again next week, I say thanks for staying tuned and bye for now.